So yeah, Future World has seen a ton of changes over the last 38 years. Yes, 38 years, right? Yeah, sure, that's close enough. 30-something years. Hey guys, what's up? It's Disneyland Banana. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below to follow me along on all of my Disney and college adventures. You should also follow me on Instagram at Disneyland Banana. So this video is going to be part 2 in an 8-part series. These are my top 5 must-do attractions at EPCOT. So the purpose of these videos is to help out first-timers to Walt Disney World, to try and give them some pointers on what you should make sure you do at each park. If you're visiting EPCOT for the first time, these are 5 things that I think you should definitely do when you are at EPCOT. I've already ranked my top 5 for Magic Kingdom, so I will link that in the description below. For Walt Disney World, I will also be doing Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom, and then I will be doing Disneyland in California, Disney California Adventure, and Disneyland Paris, and Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris as well. Before I begin, a little history about EPCOT. EPCOT Center opened on October 1st, 1982. It was built to be sort of a permanent World's Fair. EPCOT is split up into 2 sections. There's Future World and there is World Showcase. Future World is made up of a bunch of different pavilions. When the park opened, all of these different pavilions were sponsored by corporations, and the point of them was to kind of change throughout the years to represent what corporations were kind of bigger at the time. Each corporation was able to sponsor an attraction if they wanted, and that was kind of how EPCOT worked. Unfortunately, it didn't work for EPCOT. As the years went on, Future World especially really struggled because they were losing all of these corporate sponsors. When corporations would go out of business, or if they would go bankrupt, then their rides would just break down and fall apart, or if their contracts ended and they just decided not to renew, all these different rides would close down, and then Disney would have to oh god, what do we do? Future World has seen a ton of changes over the last 38 years. Yes, 38 years, right? Yeah, sure, that's close enough. 30-something years. I love Future World because it feels so positive when you're walking around there. The music is so inspirational, which of course I will be playing right now for you guys because I love it. It's my favorite. And the second half of the park is called World Showcase. World Showcase is supposed to be a place where it represents all these different countries from around the world. As of today, there are 11 different countries that are showcased in the World Showcase. In each one, there's architecture from that country, there are restaurants from that country, there are cast members who are from that country working there. It's really, really cool, super immersive. The theming in World Showcase is better than any other theming in any of the Disney parks. It's just absolutely beautiful. It makes me want to visit all those different countries. I love EPCOT. EPCOT is my favorite. Don't tell Hollywood Studios, but yikes, sorry. Getting to my list of must-dos. Number 5 is the 3 Caballeros ride in the Mexico Pavilion. The 3 Caballeros ride opened in 2007. It is a boat ride through the Mexico Pavilion. So if you have not been to EPCOT before, the Mexico Pavilion is in World Showcase. You walk inside of a pyramid. The whole pavilion smells delicious, like Mexican food. Gabby and I always say it smells like tortilla chips and water in there. If you know what Disney water smells like, that's what it smells like, with fresh tortillas, I think. Once you are inside of this pyramid and you see the marketplace and you see the restaurants right in front of you, you can see there's a river and there's a volcano at the back. And this river, all of a sudden there's boats going through. This is the 3 Caballeros ride. It is really hard to find. You kind of have to explore back into the Mexico Pavilion. Definitely have to do some searching to find it, but it's worth it. You get to go through this whole boat ride, and the 3 Caballeros, if you don't know them, it is an old 1940s Disney film about Donald and his friends Jose and Panchito. They're birds who travel around the world and they sing together, and the whole point of the ride is that their band is going on tour around Mexico and South America. But of course, Donald, being Donald, runs away because he wants to explore Mexico instead. So you get to see Donald going sightseeing, and then Jose and Panchito are what the heck, man? Anyway, it's super cute. It's pretty short. It's a great way to get into the air conditioning. There's never a wait for it because it's really hard to find. It's not the greatest ride of all time. There's not any drops or anything, and it's not incredibly themed. It does use screens, which I'm not a huge fan of. It smells amazing in there, so definitely go check it out. Plus, it's Donald Duck, and he does not get enough representation in the parks, so give him the love that he deserves. Number 4 on my list of must-do attractions at EPCOT is Frozen Ever After. Frozen Ever After opened in 2016 in the Norway Pavilion in World Showcase. It is a boat ride themed to the movie Frozen. If you have not heard of Frozen, I don't know where you've been for the past 7 years, but you're missing out. It's a good movie. You should definitely watch it. Frozen 2 is really great too. You get onto these really cool boats, which are actually from Maelstrom. Fun fact. And you go along, you get to see this really awesome high-tech Olaf animatronic. He's so cute. And then Sven is there too. You get to see Anna, you get to see Kristoff. They're singing, it's cute. I don't love the animatronics on this ride just because they just don't look real. Like, they look weird because they've got like these funky projected faces on them, which I know in my last video I said that the 7 Dwarves looked really cool with that. And for some reason the 7 Dwarves, they pull it off with that. But with the Frozen animatronics, I feel like they look weird. Please comment and tell me that I'm not the only one who thinks that the Frozen animatronics look like weird. You get to see Elsa, and then spoiler alert, you do go down backwards, down a drop. So much fun. You like go backwards for a while, and then you hit this like other drop and you go down forwards. So much fun. It's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, like drops wise, so it's not super intense. It's great for little kids. You get to hear all the songs from Frozen that you love. The only downsides to Frozen Ever After is it is really popular, so the wait times are always crazy. Good luck if you're standing in standby, but it is mostly indoors, so you should be fine. Moving on to the number 3 spot, I have a Test Track as my number 3 must do. Test Track opened in 1999 in Future World. It replaced World of Motion, which was a dark ride, like slow moving ride about the history of transportation. I think General Motors was their sponsor, and they wanted to like update the attraction, so they came forward with this idea about a ride about crash dummies and how we test cars, which is where you get the name Test Track. When the ride first opened, you were the crash dummy. Unfortunately, in 2012, they changed sponsorship over to Chevrolet, and they got rid of that whole like you are the crash dummy theme, which I of course didn't get to ride, but it looked really fun, and like who wouldn't want to try and be a crash dummy on a simulation? The new version of Test Track opened in 2012. It's like really futuristic looking. You get to build your own car like on a like simulation, like on an iPad type of thing. And then you tap your magic band on there and you get to save it to your magic band. And when you get up to the front of the line, you tap your magic band on the little screen and then it registers with that car. They actually test your vehicle that you designed. Capability, responsiveness, efficiency, and power. That's what the 4 are. Wow, where did I pull that from? Your design gets tested against those 4 different like tests, I guess. It ranks your design against other people's in the car. The ride starts, you go through this cool like dark scene, and you get to see all these different like futuristic looking mountains, and you see like this truck comes at you and you're driving along all these obstacles. It's so much fun. All of a sudden you just take off, you go like 0 to I don't know how many miles an hour, but then you go all around. And fun fact, you're actually in backstage Epcot, so when you are on Test Track and you're going through the fast portion of the ride, like make sure to look around, don't just pay attention to the ride, because you can see like literally where I used to walk when I would work at Epcot. On Test Track you go 64.9 miles an hour, so it is the fastest ride of Walt Disney World. It's super thrilling. It's like you're going in a convertible on the freeway. Test Track is a super fun ride. They did really kind of copy that in California Adventure, which I will talk about in a later video. Test Track is so much fun. Definitely a must-do if you've never been to Epcot before. Taking the number 2 spot on my list of must-dos at Epcot might actually surprise some people. I have chosen Living with the Land as number 2. Living with the Land is a super unique attraction. It is in Future World. It opened with Epcot in 1982 as Listen to the Land, but then the name was changed to Living with the Land. So Living with the Land is a boat ride, and you sit in these like, they're really big. It's like you can probably fit like 6 people in a row, and they've got these like funky looking canopies over the top of them. You start off in this like cool looking dark ride. It's super 80s Epcot, edutainment, education, and entertainment in one. That was kind of like the running theme of Future World back in the olden days. Living with the Land is very like authentically Epcot. It is edutainment at its finest. So when you first board the ride, you go through these cool looking dark ride scenes. You see all sorts of different ecosystems. You see a rainforest, which totally reminds me of Rainforest Cafe. You see the prairies, you get to see like a farm, you see the desert. It's pretty cool. And then a really awesome part of Living with the Land is there's actually a restaurant built in, and it's a rotating restaurant. The food is pretty good, and it's also character dining. Kylie and I went there for my half birthday. It's really fun, and then you get to like rotate through Living with the Land. You can see all the different scenes. So highly recommend Garden Girl. So after you see all the ecosystems, you pass by these screens, and they show you all these like advancements in farming, and then you exit out of the like dark room and you go into a greenhouse, which is an actual working, living greenhouse. It is the coolest thing ever. You get to see like all sorts of different plants, and they tell you about like fun facts about all these different like fruits and vegetables and flowers. You get to see them do fish farming. I know there's tilapia, I know there's shrimp in there, which is so cool to like get to see them. You get to see all of these different like futuristic ways of farming. It sounds so boring like when I say it out loud. You can't judge it until you ride it. And then at Christmas, they decorate it with all these little Christmas lights and they play music. It's so cute. I love Living with the Land. I love it so much. Living with the Land is kind of an obscure attraction. People wouldn't usually recommend this because I've heard from so many people, they're like, Living with the Land is boring. Why would you waste your time with that when you could ride Test Track? Give original Epcot some love too, guys. Number one on my list, if you've ever watched my videos, this probably won't come as a surprise to you, but number one on my list is Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth is in Future World, and it is that giant golf ball thing that you've been looking at on all the Epcot promotional information. It looks like a ball. It's not. It's a geodesic dome. Gabby, please comment and tell everybody how many triangles are on it because I don't remember. Spaceship Earth is the icon of Epcot. If you've ever seen anything about Epcot, you've definitely seen Spaceship Earth, and this ride is actually inside of it. Spaceship Earth is my absolute favorite ride at Epcot. I love it so much. I love Spaceship Earth and I'm so upset that they're changing it. So Spaceship Earth opened with Epcot in 1982. Spaceship Earth is an Omnimover dark ride, which means that the ride never stops moving. Spaceship Earth is an Epcot classic. It shows the history of communication through mankind, starting with the cavemen all the way up until the future, which looks a lot like 1980 something. So when you board your vehicles, you start in like this like tunnel, and you see the cavemen. You get to see the Egyptians coming up with papyrus, which is like the first form of like paper. You see the Romans, you see the Phoenicians, make sure you thank the Phoenicians. You get to see like medieval times. You get to see the creepy little newsboy who does not face out at the vehicles and he's just staring at the wall like this, going, extra, extra, read all about it. It is terrifying. Gabby and I are convinced that he doesn't have a face, so I don't know. You get to see like the moon landing, and you see the first computers that were built, and then all of a sudden you like enter the Matrix, which is like really weird. The best part of the whole ride, you enter into like the top of Spaceship Earth, so like you're at the peak of the dome, and it's just the starry field. You go down backwards and then you enter the star field, which is like the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I can't even like these lights are the closest thing that I could think of to it. It's like these long like stringing lights down on all sides of you, and they're so beautiful. And the music in Spaceship Earth is just amazing. Another kind of cool element about Spaceship Earth is these little like screens that they have on the ride vehicles. And at the beginning of the ride, you say where you're from on there, and then you take a picture. And then at the end of the ride, you kind of go through and you pick all your preferences. So it'll ask you a bunch of different questions, and then based on your answers to those questions, they will build you a future. It's really dumb, and the pictures half the time they never even work, but I love making dumb faces because then you get to like watch yourself look really dumb the whole time. It's great. Spaceship Earth is my favorite ride at Epcot. I highly recommend you go do it, especially if you're going really soon to Disney World and you've never been before, because they have announced that they are changing Spaceship Earth's theming, which I agree that Spaceship Earth needs a little bit of an update, but like retheming the whole ride like to stories instead of communication, like I know why they're doing it, but I don't like it. And hopefully when it does change, it turns out to be a great ride, and I'm sure that it will be a great ride. Just like the last video, I figured I'd throw in some honorable mentions. A lot of you are probably surprised that I didn't include Soarin' on this list. I hate Soarin' Around the World. Sorry, had to say it. You're not gonna catch me riding that unless other people want to ride it. Soarin' Over California is my favorite ride at California Adventure. Soarin' Around the World's not good, but if you've never been on Soarin', like, it's fine. It still kind of gives you the same experience of like, you get to be in this hang glider and you take off over the whatever, and you can see like you're flying over the world, and so people like it. I don't, but you should do it if you've never been to Disney World before. The other one that's not quite open yet, but hopefully like someday it will be, is the Ratatouille ride, which I got to ride in Paris. It's crazy awesome. Once it opens at Epcot, it's gonna be like the most popular attraction, so like good luck getting a fast pass or getting on the ride at all, but it's gonna be amazing. Definitely check it out if it's open by the time you're watching this video. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment below your must-do attractions at Epcot, and please don't forget to subscribe because I will be doing more of these types of videos. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye!